What's going on, guys? It's your boy Kev here, back with another video. We're going over NBA prize picks. Guys, if you're new to the channel and new to prize picks, let me just break it down for you real quick, as I do every single video. So prize picks, guys, is a sports betting platform where you can bet on daily fantasy sports players, and instead of just picking specific players, you are picking the overs and unders of those specific players. So for example, we're looking at Kevin Durant at 48 points. I can pick if I think he's going to do over 48 or worse than 48, and I can pair that 2, 3, 4, or 5 times through 2, 3, 4, or 5 players, kind of like a parlay. The more you risk, obviously, the more reward you get. My favorite thing, as I talk about every vid, guys, is the fact you can mix and match between different sports. So you guys know NFL and MMA are my favorite sports. So I can go over to NFL. I can scoop up Tom Brady for the over. I can scoop up Aaron Rodgers for the over, and then I can go over to MMA and I can take the over on Mike Davis. So it's really cool that I can, mix and match those sports. That's my favorite aspect, guys. If you do want to try out prize picks and you like it, please use code DGF when you do. It really helps us support the channel and really, helps us move forward here. Absolutely love every time you guys do it. We notice, we see. So thank you. Really appreciate the support we've gotten. So if you do, please use code DGF. And prize picks matches your first deposit up to $100. So, I mean, that's just free money. So I wouldn't you deposit the whole 100 if you're going to do it, if you got the money for it. So I think that's awesome that they offer that. I always take full advantage of that every time, one of these platforms offers something like that, whether it's prize picks or Draftkings. I mean, it's just free money, so why wouldn't you? But let's get into these NBA prize picks on the slate. We got 8 players on the slate as usual. Usually they add a couple more before slate lock, but we'll just go over the 8 that we see here. So Kevin Durant at 48, I would say over easily if Kyrie was still out, but he is back and ready to go, so that does make 48 pretty accurate for KD. Even with Kyrie out, I mean, I can't say Kevin Durant has been absolutely killing it, so I'm going to avoid him till we see more of him and Kyrie together. And to be honest, more Kevin Durant. And, he's been kind of spotty his whole career. He's been up and down, up and down. Obviously, we know the potential's there, but I don't see the consistency I want to see out of him. Moving on to Andre Drummond, I'll take the over at 44 very easily. Drummond has shown me the consistency I needed for him. I know I've talked about him in other videos. I'm like, you know what? He's had some spurts of greatness. Let's get consistent. He's done absolutely that. The Cavs did just add and grab Jared Allen, but GM Kobe Altman said that Drummond's role in this rotation won't change at all because of that. So that gives me confidence moving forward that it won't affect him too much. And Drummond has cleared 44 points 4 games in a row now. So he's been absolutely on fire, super consistent, as I mentioned, and I do like the over of 44 for him. Moving on to Luka, one of the best players in the league right here. 54 points. I am going to take the slightest edge of overs. If you want to fade this one, I don't hate you for it either. It's just very accurate. In the 12 games he's played this year, he's been over 5 times, under 7, so pretty close to 50-50. He has hit it 3 of his last 4. He has a super favorable matchup. Lowest usage we've seen of him last year, of this year, last game, but that was, a little bit of the game script. They were kind of getting blown out, so that makes sense. But I think he should have a bounce back game, and that's why I will take the slightest over. Moving on to Sabonis. Miles Turner is banged up in his game time decision. If Miles Turner plays, I'm going to avoid Sabonis. If Miles Turner stays out, I'm probably going to take the over of Sabonis. It's a very, very favorable matchup as well in Dallas. It's still a slight over. It's kind of like that Luka line where I'm just like, it's close. It's definitely close. But obviously, like I just said, Turner has to sit for me to even like him at all. Moving on to my Boston boy, we got Jaylen Brown. I will avoid this nightmare in Jaylen Brown, unfortunately. It's absolutely ridiculous. I mean, it's unreal, his consistency of being inconsistent. Listen to this. If you're a believer in trends, then take them. If you believe that trends continue like this and you're I don't know, superstitious or whatever you want to call it, it's something you might want to consider. But listen to this. This is crazy. So we're looking at the 40-point projection over his last 12 games. This is unreal. Hit over, under, over, under. So he's paired the 2 every single time over his past 12 games. So he'll go 2 over in a row, 2 under in a row, 2 over, 2 under. So he is consistently inconsistent. And it's just, I don't know what you want to do with that. I mean, Tatum is out as well, but that didn't really matter in the last 2 games where he was under. If you are a believer in trends, technically he's due for an over. So if you want to take it over 40, be my guest, but that is just mind-boggling to me. Moving on to Joel Embiid at 48. This is interesting. Speaking of nightmares, I mean, how about the guy who just scored 16 points in his last game? 16 points, and the game before that, 84 points. Makes absolutely no sense. So I definitely think, that's a nightmare, but I will say I'm going to take the under. I think 48 is a little bit high for him still. He's got a bum right knee right now, and the Celtics are actually 8th against centers, so that's not too bad. And, you know, I think 48 for Joel Embiid is still a little high, you know, on a consistent level. I mean, water seeks its own level in the sport. We know that. And I think 48, he's going to hit less times than more in, you know, the rest of the season. Moving on to Grant here. Grant at 37. I mean, I'm loving the over. This is probably my favorite pick on the slate, guys. If you're going to lock one in, hammering the over. He did it the last time. And I mean, I picked him the last time for the over. Let's run it back, Grant. I absolutely love that. Cleared 6 of his last 7 games. He's cleared this projection. So absolutely love that. He's playing a bottom 5 defense in Atlanta, who is also super banged up. So many reasons I like Grant for the over 37. Very reasonable projection to get to, and I think that's a great spot for him. Moving on to Young at 42 points. I mean, I'm going to avoid him. He's hurt. He's banged up in his game time decision. I usually avoid Young anyway, and I usually avoid game time decisions anyway. So he made it nice and easy for me. I'm just going to avoid him. So let's run through these one more time, guys, just to give you guys a little recap. Young, going to avoid. Grant smashing the over. Embiid, I'm going to take the under on. I mean, that's a little bit of a, I don't want to say bias, but I just think, you know, from what I've seen, I believe he should be under. Brown, I'm going to avoid that absolute nightmare. Sabonis, depending on the health of Miles Turner, that's going to be, you know, absolutely cyclical with how we, you know, handle that situation. Luka, the slightest of overs. I mean, you know, potential's there. Andre, I do like the over a lot for him. And Kevin Durant, I will avoid for sure. So thank you guys for tuning in. If you did enjoy the video, please like, subscribe, and smash that notification bell. We got another UFC event coming up, guys. I just went over the breakdown today for UFC. Super psyched to do it again Friday. We're going to drop that video for the next UFC event, and we got playoff football. We're going to do the breakdown. I'm going to have some NFL prize picks probably tomorrow night, so absolutely psyched for that. Thank you guys for tuning in, and as always, let's gash.